Hey everybody, welcome to Ticket Stubs and Popcorn. I'm Peter.
And I'm Frank. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Thanks for
I
asking.
was talking to them.
Darn you. Alrighty, today's actor is Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
You know, it's about time we got around to Tom Cruise. I knew he was in that bucket,
Right?
but
The bucket god spoke, and
when
we
they
got to
came
do
up,
Tom Cruise.
you got it.
So that's great. Before we do that, though, so we're sort of,
Alrighty, you beat me.
4th of July.
Yes, it is.
So you're very festive.
Festive. You got a little flag on you too.
Yeah, a little flag going on there. Thank you to my sister for the shirt. Anyway, so your favorite historical movie. Think about that. I gave you an easy question this time.
Okay.
So yeah, historical.
Favorite
so not
historical.
documentary, but
No, yeah, okay.
Like-
I got you.
historical.
Okay,
movie.
all right. Wow.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All righty, that sounds good.
All right. So let's talk about
Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Go ahead. Kick it off.
Okay, Tom Cruise. He's been around for a little bit of time.
Forever,
He's
yeah.
got some great movies, blockbuster movies.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
good stuff. He's got a
Cinema
great range,
icon.
obviously.
Yep.
And he's been in a lot of different types of movies. So let me just start off by, it's not his first movie, but it's the first big one.
Yeah.
And I do have trouble sometimes when I have like someone's first big movie, that always kind of sticks with me. And so
Okay.
my first pick will be Risky Business.
Okay. That holds a dear place in my heart. It's the first rated R movie I snuck into underage. So yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie.
It's a great movie, and it's a great performance, and it's a great performance by a young actor. And it's not just like a teen fantasy movie. It's not just a coming of age movie.
Yeah,
it's
not,
deeper.
especially
There's
of
others.
that time, because you had
Yes.
Revenge of the Nerds, you
Because
had
yeah.
Porky's, you
Porky's
had,
is a great,
you know,
is a great juxtaposed movie
yeah.
with that
so
one.
you
It
had
is
those
that time.
like
You're right.
sex romp kind of things. Not
Yeah.
even. It's not even like that.
Silly, funny,
Yeah.
revenge.
Yeah. This was
I got.
This
Yes,
was a
no,
little bit
exactly.
more-
It was deeper, and it
a
was
little bit more.
yeah, and it was
depth, a little
better.
bit more.
It was better. Yeah, wonderful performance. And let's be honest, if he didn't pull that off, the movie wouldn't have been as successful.
Right.
There's a good supporting cast, definitely, but if he can't pull it off, make it believable, make these feelings palpable, the situation he gets himself in, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And this movie works.
It does.
So it's just a great one, and plus you get to, if you are a younger viewer and you've only seen it, say, in the last 10 years or 15 years, you get to see him at the beginning of an earlier part of his career,
Yeah.
because we definitely see him.
He looks so young.
Yeah, he does, and we get this. Not all the time, but we get this image of him as an action hero a lot of times.
Yeah.
And you see him in this one. It's kind of nice. He's vulnerable. He's got to think on his
Yeah.
feet now. He's got to scramble.
Yeah,
Things are happening.
Yeah, that car
Um,
starts moving. He's panicked.
You got it.
And it's
You-
real.
It is.
So, but
And-
it's a great kind of like snapshot of the 1980s,
definitely
because it's got
Yeah.
all those trappings of the big focuses on success and business.
Gotta get
and
into college.
Gotta get into like there's
You got it.
there's just so much like just sort of traditional stuff.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
so weird to
Yeah,
watch.
he wants certain things, and all of a sudden he gets certain things.
Yeah.
And then it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
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 And then it just gets deeper.
Right.
Deeper. And so I just love that one.
It's a good one.
Enjoy that movie. So Risky Business. And then just coincidentally, nothing to do with the holiday today, 4th of July, but Born on the 4th of July would be my second one.
Okay. Yeah.
If I didn't already start to see it and realize it, Born on the 4th of July really knocks home that point that no, this young actor is a very good actor.
Yeah.
He's not just a face or a smart kid. You know, no, he's a very good actor. And this is an Oliver Stone movie, and I'll be the first one to say I am not necessarily an Oliver Stone fan.
This is my favorite Oliver Stone movie.
It probably is for me too. Yeah. It's based on a book, a memoir of a real Vietnam vet who I believe was you know consultant on the film.
Yeah.
So
he was pretty instrumental. Like you saw
He
him
was.
a lot,
He
in
was,
the
yeah.
press and stuff like
The
that.
press
Ron
stuff.
Kovic.
So Oliver Stone, I think, needed to treat the material a certain way because this man was still there.
Yeah. Yeah. He
And-
took a few
and
more
involved.
liberties when he did JFK.
Oh, for sure,
So-
for sure. But it's just it's a great piece of acting, but it also gives you a wonderful perspective on the Vietnam era, but the Vietnam War experience for some, but more so and possibly more important, what the feeling of the country may have been when they
Yeah.
returned.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is
It's less
another,
about about the war than and more about the
right.
coming
Why
home.
are we here? You
Yeah.
know, that's bad enough. But it's the reintegration into society. How does society feel about them? And then just, of course, the other thing, the Veterans Hospital situation, the treatment of some patients. So this one is this. It's a very physical movie for Tom Cruise, and he does that very well. It's an emotional roller coaster. So there's all of that, and he does that very
Yeah.
well. There's a whole thing about just your physical awareness, your limitations, and in his case, there is a major limitation which affects everything: health, his sexual viewpoint, and just his mental well-being.
Yeah.
It's
Great.
everything is affected.
Yeah.
And he really just knocks that home. Just
Yeah.
knocks it home on
Yeah,
that one.
completely.
It's great. So I can't say enough about that performance. And like I said, that one there, we'd seen them in movies, Risky Business in particular, but when we saw that one, or at least when I saw that one, I was thinking, oh,
Yeah.
no, he's good. It doesn't seem like he'll ever be out of his depth and he can do anything at this
Yeah.
point. So,
Cool.
so that's I love that one. Born on the 4th of July. My third
Good movie.
one. My third one is this one here is one of it's obviously one of my top 3 favorite performances, but sometimes it might even be my favorite. It changes. Like I'll see Born on the
Okay.
4th of July and I'll kind of lean toward that one, and other times this one, Magnolia. I love him in this movie. not a nice person,
Not at
but
all.
I love him in this movie, and it kills me not to be able to pick that great little thing in Tropic Thunder, but I got to
Right.
go with Magnolia.
Okay.
He is, oh boy, I don't know what you want to call him.
Awful.
He's awful. He's
To call that character misogynist.
oh, I know
is
it. It's
like-
an insult to other misogynists.
Right, exactly.
Oh.
The other misogynist is just
Going
like,
like,
whoa,
wow,
whoa,
that guy,
whoa.
hey, slow your roll. There's
Yeah,
too much going on
don't-
here.
Bring us down to that level.
Yeah, he's
We're all about standards.
Yeah, he's a whatever you want to call it, get rich quick salesperson, but only for one thing only, and getting whatever you can from a woman. And but oh my God, he's not acting this thing. He's like living this lifestyle.
Oh yeah, this character.
He's doing these conventions and these pay-per-view sort of things on TV, and he's advertising heavily in magazines.
It is his bread and butter.
And so he is famous for one thing only, and that's that. And it's the lowest common denominator.
Telling guys how to get women. And it's just...
Yeah, and it's not getting a date from women. It
is...
Yeah. And
he ain't very woke, let's just say.
Oh.
It's the worst.
Comatose.
Right?
As far as
Seriously,
I like it.
yeah. But it is a great performance.
Oh, it's a great performance. Yeah. And there's anger in there. There's a lot of stuff.
But it doesn't drift into parody.
No, it
either.
doesn't.
And
It
that,
doesn't.
I think,
It doesn't go so over the top where you're like, okay, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because that could get to a point where it's just like so over the top. You're just
got it. You're just like, oh, forget
we're
it.
in on the joke.
Yeah, we're in on
You're
this
sitting
too.
there just going,
yeah, like,
oh my God.
Okay,
oh my God.
I can't. I know it. Like,
yeah.
And what's great is the whole juxtaposition. The movie Magnolia has got many different characters, many different stories. Are they going to get connected? Possibly. Are they connected? Possibly.
Yeah.
You have to see the movie. But his specific vignette, if you want to call that, within the movie, is juxtaposed against some other figures, but basically deathly ill father, who is really, I mean, he is on his last legs on his deathbed, but the kind-hearted caretaker, which is played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, and to try to, he wants just to help the old man that he's taking care of, like a hospice situation. And when he realizes that the old dying man has a son who he would like to see one last time, he's been estranged for many years, the Philip Seymour Hoffman character takes it upon himself, well, I'll go try to find this guy.
He's probably a really nice guy.
He's probably a nice guy, and if I can convince him, come on down, he's only got a few more hours maybe. So he reaches out, and then he finds out that he doesn't have the same, the dying man and his son do not have the same last name for whatever reason. And so it makes the caretaker's job a little tougher, but then he figures out what the person's name is, and it's like, Frank Mackey? Oh, not the guy who I see on the back of Skin magazines or the TV ad. Like, what? It's the same guy? And so then he has to get a hold of him, and getting a hold of him is tough enough, but then getting him to come to the phone when he finds, just the whole bit, and it just opens up a whole thing, and Tom Cruise is just wonderful.
Yeah.
Sleazy at at points, very difficult to take what he does to earn his bread and butter, but now he's out of that element, at least for a bit, and he's, by his dad's bedside. It's a whole other thing, and it's a great performance. It's really excellent. I just love it. It's a great movie too. There's some parts are a little better than others, but wonderful. I love it. So those are my three, and let me tell you,
it's really tough.
Like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
How do you pare this down to three?
It's really tough. It's really tough.
And let's be honest, you may touch upon this one. He's made a great career, if he wanted, just solely on action films, which I didn't even really pick anything from, to be honest. Yeah. And that. Anyway.
Well, before I get into that, I just want to remind folks, if you would, please just like and subscribe. And also, if you want to check out the podcast, that's, Yeah, it's
We
fun
always
at the gym, I hear.
We enjoy your support.
Yeah.
If you want
So,
some merch,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, support the show. We got merch, we got T-shirts and stuff like that. So there's a link in the show notes. So thanks. So Tom Cruise.
Yeah, who do you got?
So all right, I think that Tom Cruise, unfortunately, gets sort of maligned unfairly at times. Yeah, I mean his association with the his crazy church or whatever. So
that situation.
Yeah,
Yes.
that situation.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Scientologist, right? That whole thing.
Okay.
And I think that adds a layer. He's jumping on the couch, 20 years ago
with
because he's in
Oprah
love
or
with Katie
something.
Holmes when he's on Oprah. So I think that like some of those non-actor things
Yeah.
sort of put him in.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just like, he's crazy, he's weird. But
He's
I'll be
crazy,
honest,
yeah.
when I was thinking about talking about Tom Cruise movies, and I've probably said this before, that I can never think of like, oh man, that's a terrible Tom Cruise movie. That's a terrible Tom. I mean, when we did a I don't know, like when we did a Bruce Willis show. When you go down a list of Bruce Willis movies, it's just like, yeah, I like that one. Oh, that one's not great. That one's not great.
Yeah.
But like Tom Cruise movies are pretty solid, and they're pretty varied.
Like a bad Tom Cruise movie would still be a very solid movie.
Yeah. So I'm gonna piggyback on the Born on the 4th of July movie just to kind of get rolling. It was the first for me. I thought it was the first time that you saw him like really, really acting. I mean, some of the stuff that he did when he was younger was great. Some of the ensemble stuff that he did with the S.E. Hinton books. That he did.
The Outsiders.
Like the Outsiders, which was great, and he was fantastic. And it's just like, that whole cast is, like, wow, what a home run with that cast, because everybody did amazing things after that.
Swayze,
Exactly.
Right?
But Born on the 4th of July was just like, oh wow, Tom Cruise I can take seriously now, because it's a great performance in a good movie. And it's
very demanding.
Yeah, very demanding, and he pulls it off. And you just love that performance, because it's just like, wow, he can carry a serious movie and do the serious actor things that he needs to do to get you just sucked in. And you feel for this guy. It's just like, oh my God. And, on top of it being a true story, it's just like, wow, you just, it really just says, there's a respect for the real life person that he's portraying. Yeah. And he just, I don't even want to diminish it by saying he acted the hell out of that, because that's a little too mocking, but he does an amazing job with it. And props to Oliver Stone for getting a good performance out of him, because that's still relatively early.
Yes.
For Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah.
And the first time that you see him, that you really see him in a like as a grown-up role, it's just like, oh, he's got his grown-up actor pants on. Yeah. Fantastic. And it was great. And like I said, there's hardly a Tom Cruise movie that I would go, oh, that sucked. Oh, that sucked. Oh, that sucked.
Or,
consistently.
The worst thing I could say about Tom Cruise movies, probably the worst thing I could say about any actor. It's like, oh, I've seen that once, I don't need to see it again. If that's the worst thing I could say about a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
What the heck?
Exactly. So that's how I feel about Born on the 4th of July. Fantastic.
Yep.
My next one, I'm going to take all the Mission Impossible movies as a whole.
Yeah.
I like Tom Cruise as an action star, and he's done other action stuff.
He has.
But I think the reason I like the Ethan Hunt character and the Mission Impossible stuff is that Tom Cruise took that property, which could have been... which could have ended up just sort of being, a campy, let's try to make this existing property, and make it more serious and stuff. But But I think that he does it, and he's got a great crowd around him. You know, he's and they're great, and the fact that he produces them, he puts his heart and soul into.
He puts
what
his
could
own
be,
stamp on
yeah.
this thing. No, he really
and
has.
He literally throws his
Yeah.
his body into it, and
Oh,
which just
definitely.
speaks to his commitment.
His commitment. Oh,
to
yeah.
it. And his just straight out, you know, he's not just some pretty boy
No.
who's going out there and pretending to be an action
I'm going to
star.
put it all out, and I'm going to
Yeah.
have fun doing it.
I mean, there's a bunch of times, and one of them is so obvious in the most recent Mission Impossible movie, where he jumps from one building to the next, and you see his ankle slam into that building, and he gets up and limps away, and you know that. Oh, that something's not right.
That
there.
must have
That's
hurt.
just, you know, it's like watching every Jackie Chan movie.
Oh yeah.
It's just like,
you're like,
oh yeah,
whoa.
that's broken.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. His arm is gone.
Yeah.
So-
The thing is, it's when he is committed to this role, because it's got his face on it. It's got his name on it.
Yeah.
It's become pretty much his property. How many people ever think back and go, "Oh, I'm only thinking of the original TV show."
Yeah.
Or
No,
it's
not
become,
anymore.
it's got his stamp all over
All
it.
over it.
And so
and,
he's given his all.
Yeah.
In every aspect.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're fun.
Yeah.
You know, that they're fun. They're not going to change the world, but they're
Right.
fun, and they take some interesting twists and turns. So, you know, it's I think they're great.
Oh yeah.
So my third one, I just, man, I bounced back and forth because there's so many, but I really, and this is such a universe. This is he's got so much other better stuff, but his role in this throwaway little movie is, and I think it's the chemistry with his co-star. It's night and day.
Okay.
And there may be people out there going, "Oh my God, there's so much better stuff out there. There's Last Samurai. There's this." But there's, you know, I mean, Last Samurai is, you know, not great. But there are other better, more sweeping films that he's done. But Night and Day, I love this movie.
Okay.
And I love it in spite of itself. It's such a throwaway thing, but his chemistry with Cameron Diaz just is undeniable. And it's a great little movie, and you can't even say, oh, it's just Ethan Hunt, not in an Ethan Hunt movie. Because it's
Ethan Hunt in an Ethan Hawke movie. Wait a minute. Don't go there.
It's just a fun movie that just brings me joy, and he's great in it, and he's sort of like, it's a little lighter.
If it brings you joy.
Exactly. So I love that movie. Okay. And then there's a whole bunch of like honorable mentions. There is
loads of honorable mentions. The Tropic Thunder one, for me, I was like,
oh my God,
it would easily be in there. And I said, I can't put it in there because I really got 3 other. Few Good Men.
A Few Good Men is I really just, I don't, you know, laugh as much. You know, Top Gun is, you know what the thing is though with Top Gun? It's too, and maybe it was just the time I saw it.
It could be the time
it came out.
I might be,
I look at that movie and I can't help but laugh throughout that whole thing. But I'll tell you, I cannot wait for the sequel to come out.
Which has kind of been bumped a lot because of COVID.
Right,
it just kept going.
But that's coming up pretty soon. So I am I really like Tom Cruise, and I think that he's again all of his crazy sort of personal life stuff.
Know, like I never ever buy into. I just don't care so much about that.
Well, I just think that it's like
no, it's definitely out there though.
Oh yeah, definitely. But when you talk about Tom Cruise, it immediately goes from that guy's crazy Scientologist jumping on a couch. And you're just like whoa, yeah, fine. But let's look at Few Good Men, Eyes Wide Shut, Born on the 4th of July, Risky Business, The Outsider, and I'm, you know, so I just I always like him, and I think he's great. And if in 6 months, I would probably come up with 3 different ones because I'd be just like, oh yeah, and then there's this, and then there's this. But there's just so much great stuff.
Yeah. He's capable of such great art, and he's delivered
And
many,
I gotta tell
many
you,
times.
he has. We talk about how young he looks in. In Risky Business. And I got to tell you, the only time I've noticed his aging, because he's looked pretty good all these years,
definitely.
and he's late 50s. I don't think he's hit 60 yet.
You know something?
This year
He turned 59 yesterday.
Okay,
July 3rd.
All right.
So he's almost born
there
on
you
the
go.
4th of July.
All right. So
Don't ask me how I know that.
Weird.
No,
so
obviously because I was doing research for.
But the only time I've noticed his sort of aging is the most recent Mission Impossible movie. There's a little
That's bound to happen.
Puffier in his face a little bit. So, but hey, it's the guy drives the hell out of a motorcycle. So
you know what? He's so gifted as an actor, and he's just found what he really loves, and that's doing his own stunts, doing this stuff, producing. God bless him, right? He can jump on any couch anytime. I don't care.
Yeah, let him.
Whatever.
He was celebrating. He was in love.
He was in
all
love.
about love. So then they get divorced 60 years later. So, anywho, wow. What's your favorite historical? Oh, you want to recap first? You want to do that because we always forget to do that.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So yours were Born on the 4th of July, Magnolia, and Risky Business.
Yeah, you got it.
I
That was
did
good.
Yeah.
Now.
No, you know what I
pressure's
found?
on me.
This is it. This is my little trick. I've started. This is such a new thing for me. When other people are talking,
You actually listen now? No.
wait, what? But yes,
I'm up.
it's
What?
such a. Yeah, I read about it in a book. So
Thank you, Dale Carnegie.
right?
You
So,
read that book.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
She was married to the cowboy, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you.
And mine.
Yours were, we overlapped, we agreed on Born on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
And then we'll use, as an umbrella sort of thing, his work, great work in Mission Impossible, that whole series. And then Night and Day.
Yeah, just
So-
love that movie.
Like I said, it killed me because I knew there were some that just weren't, just because of math. Well, 3,
But the thing,
some
you know,
aren't going
is,
to make it.
For me, Night and Day is just like ridiculously rewatchable. You know what I mean? Whereas you get in some of the where there's better performances in better movies, like oh my God, why am I blanking on that? Like Magnolia.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's just so much work to do. It's just like, or A Few Good Men, where you're just like, all right, this is so emotionally draining for me.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I just want to sit back and enjoy
The fun.
the fun.
Yeah.
And so I'll go back to Night and Day more often than I will, A Few Good Men. So,
Okay.
well, give me a historical movie. What's your favorite historical movie? As we talk on this historical day.
Yes, on this historic day. There's obviously a lot out there that we could pick from.
Mine's War of the Worlds.
Very good. There we go. Mine was Frankenstein.
There was, not to interrupt you, but when I worked in a movie theater, we had this guy.
You worked in a movie theater?
Yeah. And and that War of the Worlds movie, Tom Cruise, War of the Worlds movie came up, and this gentleman came out. I think he was a little befuddled, and I think that age maybe took its toll. But I think he was expecting a different movie when he went into War of the Worlds, and the way he phrased his dissatisfaction with the way he did it was he came up, he goes, "That's not the way it happened." So
I thought we beat the Nazis.
Right.
Okay, buddy.
So he's just like, all right, you know what? I'm going to give you your money back. I don't want to, but I just think it's best for everybody at this point. So
I'm going to help you by getting you out of here.
Right.
Yeah. And
So-
I'm going to help me by getting you out of here.
Right. So anyway, I'm sorry.
No.
Give me one of your favorite
It's
historical
a great,
movies.
it's a wide open thing, and obviously it could cover, who knows, a couple of millennia, really.
Yeah.
Who knows, wherever you're setting your movie. But there are ones obviously that are fictional, that are placed in certain times. But if we're just talking,
and it doesn't
great
necessarily
little,
need to
you
be
know,
like
historic ones.
like
No, but
like based on us, like it could be, you know, set in a particular time, you know.
I think I got you. All right, I'm just mention a couple, and then I'm gonna hit on the one that I really like. Um, Amistad, which I think I mentioned before for something, but I forget. Favorite presidential, I think. Like was without anyway. So yeah, Amistad is a good one that I like. It's an old John Ford one. They were expendable. Just said like in the Philippines during World War II. That one's a good one. But I want to say one of my favorite ones. Not a big movie. On the surface, it's very. It would not float a lot of people's boats. Wouldn't get them excited.
Okay.
But because I still am, but I used to be a very big student on the Kennedy assassination. There's this minor movie out there called Parkland.
Oh, I've seen that.
I just love that movie.
Is that like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more. But in that time.
About the hospital.
Yeah.
Like when they brought him.
Yeah, so what I love is that there is, we just touched on Oliver Stone, we talked about JFK for a split second, which is a great movie, completely fictional. Completely fictional. So they just take all of the conspiracy theories and all the kook notions and make it into a great movie. Yeah. But it's, you know, I shouldn't say entirely, 95% fiction, which is fine. It makes for a great movie. The real hard fact is that, okay, there's a president, now he's driving through Dallas, he just got, you know, hit in the head by a bullet, and that's going to be the kill shot. Secret Service has got to get him over to the closest hospital. Yeah. He's in the hospital, and there's no hope, but there are still doctors and nurses who have to try their best because there's a governmental figure there, and his police and guards and Secret Service of different rank are all there. And then there are people who are in the audience, in the crowd, seeing this happen. And one of them, Abraham Zapruder, is taking a film. And so now there's the FBI who's got to like figure out, crap, we can't just wash our hands and say, it happened. Yeah. So now they got to try to find people who were there, interview people. And that's all this is. And it's just raw emotion of a young doctor or a nurse. Or the FBI guy doing the investigation. And it's frustrating on a lot of levels because now it's just after the fact and you have to scramble. And by this point, 1963, these people who are running around having this thrust upon them, weren't around at the last presidential assassination. So it's kind of like, it's all new. This doesn't happen every day. Yeah. And so I just like that movie. It's in a small setting, couple of different locations in Dallas, and it just seems more immediate. And it's not based on anybody's theory. It's like, no, this is what happened, and this is where he went, and this is what they had to do immediately after. It wasn't like 6 years brewing in someone's head what to come up with and how to explain things and stuff. So I like that.
All right, it's weird because one of my favorite, and I was gonna try and I wanted to talk about Winds of War, which was great book. Herman Wouk, right? And they did a mini series of it in the 80s, and it was awesome. And I probably learned more about World War II in that mini series than any other thing. I told history teachers in school. I was in high school at the time. Just like, we should be watching this because this should be homework because this was so good. It's just so good. But that's not really fair. So, but that's one of my favorite kind of historical movies. But I kind of want to. Then I tossed around. I'm like, well, I do love Apollo 13. That's a great.
I love that one.
And seeing that, you know what happens. You know what's going to happen, but it's still very compelling when you watch it. It's still like
it's unfolding in real time. It seems like for you,
and it gets you on the edge of your seat, and it keeps you there, and that is so great. But I still think that the one that tops them all for me is Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah,
and mostly because of that
opening,
that scene, storming the beach thing, because it is shot so well, and you know that, like, broadly, you know that Spielberg put a lot of time into getting it right.
Oh yeah,
like getting it right, and you feel that you're there. It's scary, and you make it through the storming of the beach, and you're relieved, you're exhausted at the end of that, and the highs and the lows and the scary stuff and the not so
opening scene, which is extended.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
You're just along with that, and you live that movie as it's going along, and it is fantastic, hands down for me. Like one of the best historical movies.
Yeah, the other one that made me think too, which I love this movie, is not to the same like immediacy of that one. It's a little stretched out. Is the movie I referenced Gettysburg? For Jeff Daniels.
I think.
But so that's another one that I love. Kind of the same thing. You don't forget it. It doesn't just shake off. You're like, oh, this is like,
So so that's my
very good.
That's my favorite.
And I do love
Apollo
13.
It feels like it's a little bit like a slam dunk, little pedestrian, but
no,
it's what it is. It is what it is, kids.
You know what else good with the, just jump back to the Apollo 13. It's like, you start the movie, and if you're old enough, you know how it's going to end because you experienced it, before. But you could watch it a second, third time, and the same thing. You're still interested.
Yeah.
I use this example sometimes of what makes a good movie, and I can't answer it, but I can give you an example.
Yeah.
And all I can say is a little similar to, we already know what the ending is. A little similar to Apollo 13, or even Saving Private Ryan with D-Day.
Lincoln.
Yeah, is A Few Good Men. No, not A Few Good Men. I'm sorry. All the President's Men.
Oh yeah.
This movie, which is about Watergate, if obviously you know that, it came out after 2, 3 solid years, 2 definite solid years of every single day on the news was Watergate, and it would preempt TV shows. So there were times if you had 3 basic channels available to you didn't have anything to watch. If you wanted to watch something different, you could not watch anything different. Yeah,
because you only had the 3.
So you knew what was going on for back then. You knew what was going on for 2 years, and it just kept going and going and going. Finally, we get past that, and this movie comes out. And I remember watching the movie when the movie came out, and you're sitting there on the edge of your seat thinking, wow, how is this movie going to end? And you're like, wait a minute. You just lived it for the last 2 years solid. And you're like, that's the sign of a good movie. When you know how it's going to end, but you don't know how the movie's going to end. And you're like, why do I have this doubt and confusion? I know what's going to happen.
Like that movie Spotlight. When Spotlight came out, I mean, like I lived through it. Like I remember, like I read those stories in the Globe. you know, but the movie just sort of, you know, it keeps you sucked in, and that's a great,
it's a
and
good
that's I think a difficult thing to do, to dramatize something, you know, that, you know, should this be a documentary, should this be a dramatization, you know, so but yeah, that's that's a good example.
Those are good historic movies that we talked about. Very
all right.
good.
Hey, let's do some bucket.
There we go. Get something good there.
Yeah, something good there.
Oh, not that one.
Yeah, no, definitely this one. All right. Okay. Oh, that's good. All right, cool. There you go. All right.
Okay.
The coffee cup is empty.
You
Need
won't
to get
hear me
more
complain.
coffee in my fancy schmancy
There you go.
coffee cup. So, hey, thanks for coming by, folks, and participating in your small way. And
Happy 4th of July.
yeah, all of that stuff. So enjoy that. Hope everybody's safe and all that good stuff. So yeah, like and subscribe. Enjoy us as a podcast. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, remember to like, you know, like us and follow us and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that helps
we'd
out.
like to hear from you.
Yeah, you know, it does it supports the show. It's nice. It's kind of like my, you know, kind of my little pencil cup.
I was gonna say you're almost shaking that thing.
So
yeah. Change, man.
So these great production values don't happen for free. So
That's right.
So thanks anyway, and have a great day, and
take care.